Hello and welcome to Voice of Crypto.
Yeah, I got into crypto in 20. Most people know me from Twitter, the political shows that we do. There's a certain rule book that was created in crypto that increases the likelihood of you succeeding.
Why do you think media is the key to Web3 confidence?
They just abuse people's trust to some extent. We'll be having the equivalent of Putin and Zelensky on stage together.
Wow.
I think the things that we do will have impact will have impact on what shapes the world we live in.
Hello and welcome to Voice of Crypto, and we are reporting live from Token 2049, and today we have a special guest, Mario, on the podcast. Hi Mario.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, Mario. So for our users, I was looking through your LinkedIn and you have been such a great journey. So talk about your journey, how you started your career and what you're doing currently, and we all know, but how it all started.
Yeah, I got into crypto in 20. Most people know me from Twitter, the political shows that we do. I've been in crypto since 2017. Our business model is majority crypto. We've got a political branch as well on the media journalism side that we started in the last couple of years. But we invest very heavily. We invest in bull market 2-3 projects a day, bear market less. We used to incubate a lot of projects. We still do, but very limited. And we obviously advise. On the media side, we've acquired a lot of media assets even beyond Twitter. On Twitter, we've got different partnerships. You know, Scott Melker, a good friend, we're partnered with, in my opinion, the most respected show in crypto. Wolf of Wall Street, and yeah, that's our strategy. Moving forward, we want to continue being one of the biggest media players in crypto. And again, our assets go well beyond X.
Right. So, I mean, I ask this question to everyone who has come to my show: is you remember that moment when you started with crypto? How you got into crypto? How you got into Web3?
Yeah, it wasn't as sexy as many others. I got into it in 2017. I've been watching crypto for a while. I was one of the idiots that said Bitcoin is blockchain's here to stay, Bitcoin won't last. You know, the good old saying, innovators, what was it? Pioneers have arrows in the back, and followers or settlers prosper. So essentially, the guys that lead the way face all the hurdles, end up failing. We see that a lot of the people that's, you know, the first people to kind of test different things will be ahead of the curve in crypto. They no longer exist. And then later, a few years later, the same thing in tech, they end up succeeding. YouTube being a most obvious example people like to give. YouTube started as a dating website. So and I was like, hey, Bitcoin is the pioneer. They'll fail because of too much centralization. It's a failed experiment. And I was wrong. And in 2017, I'm like, all right, I'm wrong there. I'm gonna get into the ecosystem. Got involved, and the rest is history.
And what brings your interest to media? We have been seeing you have been very active in media, talking about geopolitical issues. Why do you think media is the key to Web3 component?
We live not only in an attention economy, we live in a trust economy. I think people lack trust in the various news outlets, in crypto, the various influences they follow, in the various exchanges, all the centralized entities, FTX, Alameda, Celsius. They've proven the flaws of centralization. And on the political side, CNN, Fox, etc., they've done the same thing on that front. They just abuse people's trust to some extent. And we found that to be a massive opportunity. So what we try to do is we be an unbiased, non-arbiter of truth, whether it's crypto or whether it's politics, and it's paid off really well. So I just think it's a problem that needs a solution. That's on the political side. On the crypto side, it's such a blue ocean, crypto media, and you know, we've done well on that front.
Right. So your two passions, crypto and media. How do you think you can club this? Is there anything which you are trying to build up, or something which can happen with blockchain and media?
I'm watching it carefully. I think Consensus tried to do this with got their project's name. I think it's called Civil.
Mm-hmm.
And they've tried to decentralize media. Again, innovators
Right.
end up with arrows in their back. They ended up with arrows in their back. The project closed down. So the experiment was really interesting, where the news network is a DAO, where DAO holders or participants determine what journalists can use the platform. So they're the arbiter of the information they want to consume or they want on the platform. The immutability of the blockchain is used to store the information. So that was a really interesting experiment. I think I think there's room to do that in crypto. Sorry, there's room to do that in the media landscape, in journalism. And anyone that's doing it, I think it's one project doing it that we're gonna be. I think we're already invested in. But anyone looking at leveraging the decentralization to fix the problems that we have in mainstream media, do hit us up. I'll be keen to talk.
And you have been a successful investor. I'm sure you meet a lot of projects every day. So what are some of the key factors? So for a lot of listeners who are listening to us, who are trying to raise funds, what would be some piece of advice you'd like to give them?
There's basic indicator. I'll give a very basic answer. There's a certain rule book that we've created in crypto that increases the likelihood of you succeeding. One, have the right VCs backing you, the right reputation that will actually support you. Most obvious example is Pantera. That's number one. That's one of many examples. And recent, A16Z and Coinbase Ventures. The list goes on. That's number one. Number two is exchanges. Work with the right exchanges. Number three is launch pads. And don't look for the launch pad that is kind of going after that short-term pump with misaligned token model incentives. But the launch pads that have a long-term, trying to be very careful what I say, but they have the long-term interest of your project in mind.
Right.
So if you have the right exchange, you have the right launch pads, you have your right investors, you've done a lot of the necessary checkboxes to tick, and then obviously experience, community, problem that needs to be solving, technology. These are the most basic shit that I don't need to say.
Right. And one last question which I ask again all my guests is, what changes would you have made if you had the same kind of wisdom 10 years back? And where do you see Mario Nawfal 10 years down the line in the whole industry from here?
Buy Bitcoin 10 years ago. I'm sure everyone says that. And
if you could go in a time machine in future, where do you see yourself in the whole industry?
I think if I continue on the same trajectory, I think the shows on the political side will be significantly bigger. There's guests that we have confirmed, like for example, the former president of Brazil was meant to be on with Elon again on a few days ago, and we have another significant leader in the world that could be coming on our platform. It's still that early. I think in 10 years' time, we'll be having the equivalent of Putin and Zelensky on stage together.
Wow.
I think the things that we do will have impact will have impact on what shapes the world we live in. That will be kind of my goal. If I get there, I'll be very humbled. It's a massive responsibility, but I think with what Elon is doing with X, and the way we're kind of making sure we're not the arbiter of truth and building trust with our audience, and then we've got a good shot at getting there.
Sure, Mario does a Twitter space and he is getting late for that, so I'll not take much of your time. But any thought, advice which you'd like to give to our listeners, viewers here?
Don't get caught up on the hype train. Make sure you take your chips off the table, because history repeats itself. Crypto will give you those 10, 100,000 X's, but it'll also give you those 99% drawdowns. So while investing in the long run, if you've got the liquidity, is the winning strategy. Take your chips off the table when that peak hype, and then put those chips back in when everyone's running away and there's blood on the streets.
Thank you, Mario, for coming on the show, and thank you, listeners, for listening to this. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.